Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little chat, a little bit more of a chat anyway, about the Black Templars versus Orcs and new Ghazghkull model rumour that we talked about yesterday. See, I was very careful to try and remain neutral yesterday. I want to, when presenting rumours and leaks to you guys and just passing on the information, I obviously can't help but speculate a bit, try and work out whether something sounds legit, whether it doesn't sound legit, and just try and provide the information for you guys to make your own judgment. It's daft to go, yes, this 100% is fully going to happen, unless it's something super, super obvious. Things like, there's going to be more Space Marine releases, I don't really count as rumours or leaks, because when is that ever not true? Demonstrably, it's always a thing. But for something like this, like Black Templars versus Orcs in their own new box, that's something that I try to be neutral about, and not just immediately devolve into going, oh, it'd be so good if it happened, because it's very well, like he's all very well saying, don't get too overhyped, take your salt, be sensible, treat it with the kind of respect and, what is it, like critical outlook that you should for rumours, and then just pile on hype and excitement and how great would this be, to kind of counter to the point of trying to be neutral about it. So, yesterday, when talking about this rumour, I did not mention specifically two words. I did not mention Armageddon, and I did not mention Hell's Reach. And I did not mention either of these things because it would have just evolved into, that's what I want. That's just it, that's what I want. What I actually want is for the rumour to be true, and it's worth saying, just in case you haven't picked up yet, everything I'm about to say is just wish listing, speculation. It is just, I would love this to be a thing. I have no idea whether it is or not. I don't know whether the original rumour is true. I don't know whether it's going to happen, whether it's not going to happen. Everything that's said in this one is essentially just me going, oh, I want the thing, and that's it. No actual information behind it at all. Just so we are clear. So, the context for a Black Templars versus Orcs box. I want it to be Armageddon. What I'd really like is for it to be the first in an instalment of essentially Armageddon campaign. So we've had the Vigilus campaign books, I want an Armageddon campaign book. I still have my Codex Armageddon from 3rd edition, and oh dear God, do I want that all over again. I would like the Primaris of the Black Templars to be thrown in at the deep end, to get the baptism of fire by facing off against one of their, I'm assuming, most hated enemies in the form of the Orcs. Not that the Orcs are particularly popular with the Imperium as a whole anyway, but after the whole Armageddon thing, the third war for Armageddon, I mean, you know, it's fair, well, say the third, the second, Armageddon as a whole has been quite the mess from start to finish, but it's such a good historic matchup, it's such a long-running rivalry, and there's so many gallons of blood spilled between the Orcs and the Black Templars particularly. Well, of course, all the other chapters have been present there as well. But still, chucking the Primaris Black Templars in the deep end against a essentially ascended form of Ghazghkull, the Psychic Awakening being the Orcs, piling a lot of their latent psychic ability into making Ghazghkull an absolute monster of an Orc, a beast, so to speak, and war engulfing what little of Armageddon isn't already a raging hellhole anyway. It would just be so good, it would be so perfect, and it could open so many doors to so many cool things happening. I mean, Armageddon is like half demon world at this point anyway. There's a whole lot of mess going on that planet, like a good half of it is, I think it's Khorne and Tzeentch that have the foothold there. There was a decent attempt to summon Demon Primarch Angron back to the planet during the Third War. Let's just start from the beginning. I'll tell you what, let's just start from the beginning. Ghazghkull, for whatever reason, returns to Armageddon. He has managed to accumulate a vast, insanely big war. The kind of war that might, for instance, cause him to become some sort of prime orc. For example, he goes back to Armageddon. He wants it. He's had to leave twice. He's not having it. That place will be absolutely destroyed or will be his. He doesn't care which. He goes in. The Black Templars obviously have to respond to this threat because, well, they're the Black Templars, and we get the box. Now, in addition to the box, there is already a significant amount of Khorne influence on that world. Admittedly, Khorne and Tzeentch, they don't get on very well, there's a lot of infighting, but still, The sheer amount of bloodshed and death caused by a sudden war between, again, a vast orc horde and the Imperium defenders of that planet. And let's face it, the orcs wouldn't even stop there. They would also go after the chaos elements as well, because they're orcs and they want to just kill everything that they see. So the sheer amount of death and blood and fighting could well open the gateway. It could result in the return of Demon Primarch Angron. He could come back to Armageddon, a place that is already significantly corrupted by chaos as it is, regardless. At which point, we end up with the mother of all, three-way battles. You've got the forces of the Imperium, consisting of Space Marines, Black Templars at the fore, would be my hope. You've got Imperial Guard. Obviously, what I'd really like to see is the Sisters of Battle get some time there. They've got, their new Rangers on the horizon. It is approaching. It's not exactly like a decade away at this point. It's coming up to us quick. Those three, the Imperial Guard, preferably Steel Legion. What I'd really want to see is actual Steel Legion models. How likely that is, I don't know at all, especially since what we're talking about is purely hypothetical anyway, and there's not even been a rumour of it, so that's just throwing it out there. Again, it's just pure wish listing this. I'd love to see new Steel Legion. The Sisters of Battle could get in on the action, clearly. I mean, why would they not? Then you've got a vast horde of orcs led by a newly psychically steroid-injected Ghazghkull with new model, would be the hope. Especially that's since what the rumour said. And on side 3, you've got a vast incursion of chaos. I mean, I say incursion, they've already ruined a significant portion of Armageddon, but pushing out into the non-chaosified areas with, being led by Demon Primarch Angron, who has managed to return to the planet due to the sheer amount of bloodshed, death and destruction going on. It would be an absolute nightmare meat grinder. It would be absolutely horrendous. Armageddon is already... it's already been, the largest land battle in Imperial history? If I remember correctly, I could be wrong on that. And it could just get so much worse. And it could get so much worse in such a good way. If we had equivalents to those campaign books, equivalents to those old codexes, it could be such a fun campaign. It could be such a good campaign. You could even do a Vigilus style thing of, more players arriving. Vigilus became a little bit Dawn of War in a way, because there were a lot of different factions on that planet. But then again, Vigilus was the gateway between the two, sundered halves of the Imperium, so it makes sense that different factions would wish to either control or manipulate the use of said gateway. Armageddon, if you have two titanic threats in the form of a gigantic war that's possibly bigger than anyone's seen before, led by a newly ascended Ghazghkull, and the return of the Demon Primarch Angron, that feels to me like a pretty good basis for some other factions to get involved, because both of those things strike me as things that you kind of want to stop, because they're not going to stop once the planet's gone. The orcs are not going to wreck the entirety of Armageddon and go, oh, cool, we can have a holiday, we'll take a day off. No, they will move on, and they will keep moving on, and they will keep fighting and getting stronger, and they will keep recruiting more orcs to the cause as they kill more stuff. That is a threat to absolutely everybody. If Demon Primarch Angron actually sweeps across the planet with his forces of chaos and obliterates everything, again, it is not going to be a case of, well, that's excellent. Should we go hot tub? Yeah? No. It's just going to result in a massive swathe of destruction in whatever direction he decides to point himself in. He's not going to be sated by Armageddon. He can't be. That's not how that works. So again, another vast titanic threat. And of course the Imperium would know that. The Black Templars would know that. Any other Space Marine chapters that showed up to help would also know that. The Imperial Guard, the Steel Legion, would know that Armageddon can't fall. It's become essentially the one place where all of these forces would be concentrated. And it would be a disgusting, horrendous, god-awful meat grinder where billions of lives are lost. But on the other hand, it would be contained to just one god-awful, horrendous, relentless meat grinder instead of spreading out across everywhere. It's such a perfect setup to advance so many things, to have Ghazghkull actually be as big and as strong as he deserves to be, because he does deserve to be way more than he is currently. It could easily provide the excuse for Demon Primarch Angron to return, and honestly, he's one of the ones that should. Okay? He's one of the few that's actually bloody done something in his time of being a colossal demonic monstrosity. He's got stuff done in the past, and he deserves to get stuff done again in the future. It could be a great way to reintroduce the Steel Legion and actually do something for them. Hell, even if it was just made to order, it'd be better than nothing, right? Black Templars as a chapter deserve more than they get. They are not... I don't feel like they are just another Codex chapter. They need more than that. And if they got additional rules and additional stuff out of a Armageddon campaign book, I would be super, super happy. Orcs... Yes, there were new vehicles in October, and they look cool, but there are quite a lot of older things in the Orc range that could be replaced without even having to change stuff in the Codex anyway. It wouldn't be additional things, it would just be, bringing up to date some of their line. It would be such a good opportunity to do so much for a few core, and I think, to be fair, for the most part, kind of neglected factions. Yes, Chaos has had a bunch of stuff. Fine, great. But Khorne specifically hasn't for a while. I mean, we've now got the Thousand Suns Codex, we've got the Death Guard Codex, we had the Khorne Demon King Codex, which I maintain, even to this day, was sort of a prototype for the two Legion-specific ones that we did get. But since then, not a huge amount. I mean, the Berserkers are looking really, really rough now, they really need an update. It's like a collection of all the things that could do with some love, all put together in one perfect package for releasing a new box with a bunch of cool new stuff, for bringing the story along to give an excuse to giving these factions some of the love they actually deserve. There's no basis for what I'm saying at all. I'm not trying to justify this as the start of a new rumour or a new leak, because it's not. It's just me wishlisting. It's just me saying I really would like to see a return to Armageddon. I would like to see Black Templars get some of the stuff they deserve. I want to see Orcs get some of the stuff they deserve. I want to see Imperial Guard get anything. Just anything would be grand. And Khorne, for one of the most popular... I mean, I would argue that Khorne, for a while, was the go-to god for Games Workshop. I mean, you don't have to look at Age of Sigmar to see just how much love Khorne got over there. In comparison, 40k, he's lacking. Severely lacking. Not as lacking as Slaanesh, don't get me wrong, but still pretty lacking. I'd love that place to be revisited and used as an excuse to revamp and bring up to date so many things that need a bit of attention. And that's why I didn't mention Armageddon, or Hell's Reach for that matter, in the video yesterday. I wanted to be neutral and present it as this is the information I've been given, and yeah, this could work, and this is why it could work. I didn't want to bury you under, nearly 15 minutes of just rambling about how much I want this to be a thing, because that counteracts completely the idea of taking that information with a bit of salt, about looking at it critically and not getting overexcited about something that you don't even know whether it'll happen or not. I feel like that side of things, like this side of things, the giving in to excitement over something you don't even know is true, and the presenting of the information of it, need to be separate. They need to be different. They need to not be presented in the same thing, because then it's too easy to let one override the other. So, yeah, that's just a vast amount of wish listing and speculation, pretty much all of which could be completely untrue, but I would really like it if it wasn't. Let me know what you think of all of that in the comments down below. As always, feel free to click the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. As always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games if you're going to buy some 40k stuff, or indeed paint, supplies, or any other tabletop game. They stock literally everything on Earth. If you click that, it lets them know I sent you there. I get a little something if you buy something. You save between 15 and 25% on whatever you were buying, and it's just a nice way to support the channel with no extra steps and without spending anything extra. You were going to buy this stuff anyway, so if you wanted to, you could use that. But you don't have to. It's entirely up to you. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.